And we're down to one. Man, what a year this has been. Long year. Looking back at the ups and downs, it's been an interesting year. One that I'll never forget of the different things that's happened. And as a football team, we dug ourselves a hole pretty early in the season, and I'm proud of the guys for digging themselves out. You know, we won 6 in a row and 4 on the road, and that's hard to do in college football. Proud of how we played. Score-wise, we could have played better in some areas in the last 6 or 7 weeks, but as I tell our team in there every Sunday, no matter how you win, it's a team sport. Somebody's got to do their job if somebody else is not getting it done. We been a little lackluster on offense the last few weeks. We've been too basic, and we're going to go back to the drawing board and open things up a little bit. We have got very conservative, and I think maybe because of the weather or something, you know, we've been trying to, funny saying this, live off our defense on offense because we couldn't live off of them the first part of the season. But you know, it's amazing how things shift, and that's what's fun about football is different guys show up at different times. So we're at the point now where we've got one game left with an opportunity to share a part of a conference championship, which is hard to do, whether there's 6, 7, 8 conferences in the country and you only have a few winners. And so we're to the point now it comes down to one, and we have an opportunity to play at home and control our own destiny no matter, you know, by winning this game. It's been fun to watch a lot of these kids grow up and have a lot of fun the last few weeks. First part of the season, as I said, wasn't a lot of fun. You know, guys were struggling in some areas, and we were looking for the right combination of players on offense and defense, but it's all come together, and I think we're playing pretty good. We've gotten a lot of confidence, and guys have made some progress, not just in the technique, but mentally of how to play the game. So that being said, we have Houston coming to town, national television audience, 12 noon here Saturday. Probably the most athletic team we've seen since East Carolina. They switched horses in midstream about the 3rd or 4th game. They couldn't do anything offensively, and they took their quarterback out, who had a great year last year, and said, we're going to go with more of a running quarterback, a guy that can make plays in the pocket, and they've done just that. This kid reminds me a lot of the Temple quarterback from last week. You have to contain him. He can make big plays out of bad plays. He throws the ball down the field. They've tried to build a passing game around him slowly as the year's gone on. They've gotten better at that. They've got a couple of very good receivers. Their offensive line is big, and their running backs run very hard. So, you know, he's just not the only show. I mean, he can make plays, but he also has got guys around him. So this will be a huge challenge for our defense, probably the biggest since we played East Carolina. We'll have to have a good game plan, and we'll have to execute that game plan. Then on the other side, we have their defense. David Gibbs is the defensive coordinator. He worked for me at Auburn. Was a pro guy for years. His dad is an ex-retired NFL coach that coached a lot of football teams around the country in the NFL. And so what we want to do is make sure that we understand the type of guy he is, because that's how you set your game plan up. You know, he forces the issue a lot. David does. He's a guy that tries to make plays with his defensive front. They're very aggressive. They do play man. They do play zone. And so it'll have to be a heck of a game plan from our offensive coaches. But, you know, the thing about it is, coming down to one game, you got to go out and make plays and make sure things work out to make plays. And so that being said, you know, it'll all come down to 3.5 hours Saturday and see if we can get it done. Questions?
It's been a pretty big push from yourself and the university to get a lot of people down this weekend. Why does this one feel different as far as wanting a bigger crowd for this game?
You know, I think as a conference and as teams in our conference, we're kind of our own worst enemy. We're not real fan-friendly. We play a lot of Thursday games, Friday games, late-night games. We don't get any consistency. This is really the first week, I think, in 9 or 10 weeks that we've had a regular week of practice. In other words, you play on Saturday, you have a routine on Sunday, routine on Monday, and all the way through the week. This hadn't happened in 10 weeks, so it's kind of hard to get your football team prepared, much less your fans. And so our fans are used to the odd hours, the odd days. And, of course, this being a championship game for us and an opportunity to show the people across the country what kind of team we've become. I think a lot of people have seen us. But there's not a lot of games this weekend. There's not a lot of games, but there is a lot of recruiting going on. We have some big-time players coming in. I think we have the 7th or 8th ranked player in the country coming to this game with his parents. And so it's important that we understand if we're going to have a great football team here in the future, we're going to have a chance to compete with any conference in the country. Players can't do it themselves. I mean, we've got to have good fan support. People have got to show loyalty and understand what we're going to hopefully try to accomplish, not just this year but years to come. So what we're doing is we're asking people to come, be part. This is like another road game for us because we're at Paul Brown, and we want to finish up this 1-year tenure of going down there, going back to Nippert next year, which is going to be a lot of fun. But we want people to come out and, show support for the team, show support that, the type of support that we're going to have when we're here at Nippert. And it's a bigger stadium, so we're just asking everybody to possibly come out and bring their neighbors and friends and family and everybody to come watch a good football game, because it is really going to be a very good game, and it'll go a long ways in showing a lot of people in the stands across the country of what kind of football program this is.
You mentioned with recruiting in which bowl game you play, and you could play anywhere from December 22nd to January 3rd. How does that? Do you have a preference earlier or later? You said that affects recruiting, right?
Yeah, we don't want to go real early. Now, we're losing a week of practice recruiting as it is, playing this late. All of our teams probably should have been done last week, but I guess for television they put some of our teams late because we don't have a championship game. Next year, only 2 teams will play this week. And so there's an up and down side of playing in the championship game. One, you lose a week of practice. Not practice of recruiting. Now, we had coaches go out last night and drive long distances and see kids and come back, but it's hard to do, hard to put a game plan together and recruit at the same time. So we'd like to play after Christmas, but it doesn't make any difference. There's going to be some teams left out. There's a lot of bowl-eligible teams this year. There's probably going to be a team left out in every conference that's bowl-eligible. Fortunately, I don't think that's going to happen to us, but it's going to happen to some teams that fought to get to 6 games and made it and thought they were in a bowl game, and they're going to be sitting at home because we don't have enough bowls for all the teams. So we'll take whatever. We'll be excited about whatever. But right now we just got to concentrate on this one and try to take care of business one way or the other, and then we'll see what they do next Sunday.
As the year progressed, how has Gunner, his season gone? Would you say he's improved from point A to point B?
Yeah, I think he's gotten better over the course of the year. He's still a work in progress. There for about 5 or 6 games in the middle of the season, he really had no chance to get better. He was just throwing it with his arm. He got beat up. But the thing that I think he learned was how to play, with a little bit of pain and soreness, in which he's going to have to do the whole time he plays football, whether it's high school all the way through the NFL. You've got to play hurt because you're going to get hit. You're susceptible to getting hit, and we didn't disappoint him his first year. He got banged around real good. So that being said, I think that we'll give him a benefit of the doubt about mid-season of not playing as well as he did early because everything was healthy. But he hadn't played very well the last 2 weeks, and he's as healthy now as he was, maybe not as 100% as he was at the beginning of the year, because you're going to still have some soreness and tired and going through practices like we have. But I think he's got a lot of room for improvement. And just looking at the last 2 games, he could have played better. Our whole offense could have played better. We could have blocked better, ran better, caught the ball better, had more energy, and we hadn't had that for some reason. But I think sometimes you run out of gas, and we leaned on our offense so much and on Gunner's arm so much for the first 6 or 7 games. I mean, that's all we had. We didn't. We all know we didn't have a defense. We couldn't stop anybody, and so I think if you just look at the turnaround that the defense has made, I think sometimes the offense might say that we might not have to do as much, might not have to play as hard, that happens. We're talking about 18, 19-year-old guys. And so I don't think there'll be a problem this week. They understand the consequences of this game and what it means in terms of achieving their goals. They're out there in front of us, and we're here at home, and there's no excuses. Both teams are about the same. Just looking at the athletes they have and the athletes we have, there's not a lot of difference. And so it should be a heck of a ball game. And then whoever decides to come and put their best foot forward, and our offense is going to play better for us to win this game. There's no doubt about that.
Since you've gotten here, you've played a lot of guys on the offensive line, maybe 9 guys. It looks like that is narrowing even to the point that last week it looked like you almost stayed with your starting 5, if not for most of the game.
Yeah, because Darren Hiller, coaches those guys, and we've gotten more guys that can play. But I think as the game went on, and as we were struggling running and throwing the football and protecting the quarterback, he kind of left the guys in there that were a little more susceptible to what they'd seen in practice. And so the starting 5 that we had last week, I thought they played pretty good. I thought that was one of the bright points about the game offensively, if we had any. But we've been looking for some consistency. I'd like to play more. I'd like to play another center. A few plays, I'd like to play, a different guard. I think our 2 tackles have done a good job, but we've got Slomer that we can put into the game that's close to 100% now. So I like to play a lot of guys, but that's one area that you really need to have consistency, especially for a quarterback that needs to understand what's around him and what to expect each play from his offensive line.
Talk about opening up the offense a little bit. You need that to maybe a team of energy boost and jolt going into a big game like this, maybe keep a little bit looser when you know you are going to open things up.
Yeah, I think so. And saying that, we practice a lot of different things in practice, but when you get in the game, you get conservative. And I did the same thing when I was a defensive coordinator. If I saw our offense playing better, I got a lot more. I wasn't going to give up a big play. And you probably heard some of our comments from halftime. Basically, our coordinator on offense and myself telling the team, if we're not going to lose this game, we've got a 14-3 lead. Offense don't turn the ball over, so that comes from me a little bit. But that's in a situation where we're playing on the road and we're just trying to hang on in not a great atmosphere and just trying to get that last road game over with where we could get to this game. Now everything's off the table. Now we've got to do a lot of the things that we've been practicing that we didn't do because we got more conservative.
You talked about Greg Ward Jr. being very similar to P.J. Walker, and it seemed like last week you had a defensive scheme where you dropped your defensive line in the coverage and brought your linebackers down more. Was that because of the mobility, or just you wanted to change things up?
No, it just changed the tempo of the game. Sometimes you want to make quarterbacks throw the ball quicker, get it out of their hand, whether it's a running quarterback or whatever. If he's dropping back, his intention is to throw the ball, and we don't want timing to set in. When you got quarterbacks, young quarterbacks like this one and the kid from Temple is timing's everything. And if you give them a little bit of time, it makes it a little bit easier for them. But we've always done. We did the same thing with a quarterback from East Carolina who was a 5th-year senior who could sit in the pocket and throw it down the field and read coverages. You just want to change it up, and I think that's one thing that's helped us a little bit defensively in the last 5 or 6 weeks is we've dictated a little bit more of the tempo of the game instead of letting them dictate to us. Now, whether we do it this game, we'll have to wait to see because sometimes you want to do just the opposite of what they think you're going to do, and we always have a couple of different tricks up our sleeve, different type of game plans that we could change even at halftime, and just see what works. But there's not you play quarterbacks that can run and throw. There's not a perfect scenario. Basically, you got to do what we did last week. You got to tackle, and you can't give up a lot of yards after contact. And we've done that pretty good in the last few weeks.
You mentioned the atmosphere. Some of the games, how hard it is in this conference when you're trying to go national TV. The guy who coached in the Big 12 and the SEC, you miss the big-time college atmospheres that come with the Saturday games and the Big 12s.
You know, as coaches, you never noticed, you know, the atmosphere. I think it affects the players more. I think it makes the players play harder, whether you're at home or on the road. Obviously, if you see some of those games on television, it's hard to win a road game at a place like Tuscaloosa or Florida or, you know, Texas, you know, some of those where you got 80, 90, 100,000 people, because they affect your timing, they affect your communication and all that. And but I think your players recognize it more. I really never hardly notice who's in the stands because I have headphones on, and you know you're thinking I asked somebody how many was in the stand Saturday. I never even noticed because you're into the game so much. But I think the players recognize it. I think they get more into it because of the crowd noise, and you need that. And you know, there's been times this year that a lot of our fans had left at halftime, and I wish they'd have stayed. Toledo game being one of them. Toledo and Miami of Ohio. I mean, a lot of our students and a lot of our fans left because I even thought we had the game won, and then both of them came down to you know, touchdowns at the end of the game, and you need your home field advantage. So that's the reason, you know, it would be a huge advantage for us to have 45,000 people there Saturday. And again, it's supposed to be a nice day. It's going to be a little cool. Might be a little rain in the morning, but I think it'd be a great atmosphere for the bringing kids. There's going to be a lot of tickets out there available. I'm going to buy tickets for a lot of people. I'm going to announce tonight at the basketball game I'm going to buy a lot of tickets. So we need everybody to come. Buy everybody in here a ticket if y'all want to come. Don't be sitting at home.
You just gonna hand them out to people? Or are you gonna go around?
I'm not going to have enough time to hand them out, but I'll have somebody. Kaz is going to be on the street corners up here at Clifton handing them out at every red light. Need to listen, Kaz. You might learn something. You're going to be handing out tickets.
Any other questions?
All right. Thanks for your attendance this year. Thanks for your attendance.